Well, hello everyone. How's everyone doing? I am Luther Ragsdale, broker and CEO of Platinum Real Estate, and welcome to the Platinum Real Estate Broker Conference call today. I am really excited for today. We have a presentation on home inspections, and if you're a real estate agent, obviously you know how important home inspections can be. You know, they can make your deal, they can break your deal. You know that the home inspection is also very important for you to have the right folk on your team to actually help you make this thing happen. The right inspector on your team is very, very important. So today, I have invited one of our preferred vendors in the business, one of the members of our team, Jacques Mountain. And he is a certified inspector and the owner of Dream Home Inspections. And if you all are watching the presentation online, you will see right there on the screen it says Dream Home Inspections LLC. And I will allow him to give you all of his phone number, email address, and website. But all of his information is in Platinum DB in the agent portal. So all Platinum real estate agents, you can log directly into the agent portal. And when you log in there, under vendors, he is the only home inspector under vendors. So without any further ado, Jacques Mountain. Jacques, are you on there with us? Hello, sir. Let me see. Are you on there with us, Jacques? Let me see. Shouldn't be. Jacques, hit *6. Hit *6 and see if we can get you unmuted and get you talking on here.
Yes, sir. I am here.
There you are. How are you, sir? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. And yourself?
Oh, yeah. Good to have you here, man. I'm excited to have you here with us today. You are a very important part of our team. So would you please first tell all of my agents how we can contact you? Please give us a website. Man, I like your website. I checked out your website, and I was reading over some great information myself. Can you give us that website, a phone number, and an email address?
Yes, sir. The website is www.atlhomeinspectors.com. That's www.atlhomeinspectors.com. And our contact number is 678-516-9467. That's 678-516-9467.
All right, sir. Well, it's all yours.
All righty. Well, welcome to all of the agents that are online or watching or listening in. I'm going to go through some of the things that I think are important for agents to know regarding home inspections. And before we get started, if you're watching the webinar, I'm just going to go over some brief information about myself. My name is Jacques Mountain. I've been a residential home inspector since 2006, and this is what I do full-time. I'm also a HUD consultant. There's the HUD 203K loans out there, mortgages that are available for people to do renovations on their homes. So I do that as well, just overseeing the process, working with the contractor, working with the buyer, making sure that as the renovations go on, that everything is done in a timely manner and efficiently and done properly. I'm also new construction certified. As you know, new construction is picking back up. We have a lot of builders who are, building homes throughout the city. But even if you choose a home inspector, if the home inspector does not have new construction certification, which is called ICC certification, that's the International Code Council, and they're not carrying E&O insurance, the builder can still stop the inspector from coming out there. So I'm definitely covered in both of those areas to go out and do new construction. And then I also have a commercial certification. So I can do home inspection or building inspections for schools, people who are opening restaurants, daycares, any type of business. I can basically inspect the building and let you know what's going on. So one of the first things I want to point out to all of the agents is I know Luther, has his program to help you all get your license. And the first thing I want to say is that there is no license for home inspectors in the state of Georgia. So if anybody ever tells you they have a license, they only have a business license from Fayette or Fulton or DeKalb County in order to do business as a home inspector, but there is no state of Georgia license for home inspectors. So one of the problems that we're seeing here in the industry is that there are a lot of people out here saying that they're home inspectors, and there's really no way to verify that unless they are a part of an organization, which I'll get to in a few minutes. So a couple of the objectives that we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about what a home inspection is, of course, the benefits of getting an inspection, how to choose a good inspection company. Of course, I know some of you may have a preferred inspection company, and we definitely like you to keep working with anybody who's doing good work. But we want to show you how to choose a good company, what to expect during the inspection, some of the average costs, and then some additional services that we offer. So let's talk about what a home inspection is, and also I'd like to talk about what a home inspection is not. If you're looking at the screen, you'll see a gentleman with some overalls on, and this is Mike Holmes. Mike Holmes is a world-renowned contractor. He became very famous from HGTV. He has a show called Homes on Homes, and he also has a show called Homes Inspections, where basically contractors or inspectors have gone into people's homes. They haven't found defects and problems, and these people end up with $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 worth of problems in their home. On Mike's show, he goes in, he does inspections, they do contract work, and by the end of the show, they totally renovate these people's homes, do a fabulous job, and he's world-renowned for doing that. However, because so many people watch HGTV, there's things that Mike Holmes can do on TV that we don't do in real life. If you've ever watched his show, Mike is known for tearing sheetrock up or pulling stuff apart, breaking stuff down in the home to really see where the problem is coming from, and that's something that we just can't do as a regular home inspector. On the screen, it tells you that a home inspection is an examination and observation of the exterior and interior of the home. Basically, I'm not going to read to you, but mainly our thing is, as a home inspector, we're doing everything that's visual. So that means that if there's a crack in the wall, we can't break the wall open to see why the crack is there. If there's a leak on the ceiling, we can't pop the ceiling open to see where the leak is coming from. Now, it is our job to be inspectors and to go beyond what we see to try to find where the problem is, but we can't destroy the home or damage the home in any shape, form, or fashion. So I like to point that out to people. Let's talk about what a home inspector is not. I'm really big in staying in my lane. A lot of times when I'm on home inspections, people ask me things that I think they should refer back to you as the real estate agent. I've been doing this for 8 years. I've inspected thousands of homes and buildings, and I constantly hear from people, well, should I buy this home, or is this the right home for me? And my response always is, that's something that you and your agent need to talk about, because I can't make that decision for you. What I can do is I can present you with the facts and the problems that I found at the home, and then you have to decide what's going to be best for you and your family. I get things asked to me about, did I get a good rate on my loan, or where's my property line? Well, those are things that surveyors do and loan officers do. And so what I do is I try and stay in my lane. I'm an inspector, so I don't try and make any decisions concerning what they should or shouldn't do. I don't know if we have anybody live on the call. If you do, if you want to chat and ask us some questions, you're welcome to do that. I don't see anybody on right now, but you're welcome to just type in a question, and I will definitely respond to it. So going forward, normally I like to get feedback, but since we're not live, we're going to keep going. I have what I call an inspector's wish list. These are just some of the things that I wish, agents would do or would know. And for those who may be new to the business, some of these things might be new to you. For the more seasoned, these might just be everyday kind of things. But number one, as the inspector, I would just definitely enjoy if every agent knew what a CBS code was. We go out a lot of times. I have super key to get into the home, but our super key as inspectors requires what's called a CBS code, which is a call before showing code. It normally comes from the listing agent. Whoever lists the home, the MLS or the FMLS has a 7-digit code that's attached to that particular box, and we need that in order to get in. So for those who've never heard of a CBS code, then that's a code that comes with your box, and it comes from the MLS or FMLS. Another thing that inspectors definitely don't like is, don't quote fees. I get a lot of times I've had an agent, who's zealous to get the process going, and the person is talking, well, how much you think it's going to cost? And a lot of times they give the person a price that's incorrect. And so that puts us in a bad light when you tell the person $250 when actually the inspection should have been $350, because now it looks like we're trying to gouge the customer. So, we always recommend that, just pass the information on to us and let us provide the person with the fees. Another thing inspectors would definitely enjoy is if the utilities were on. You don't know how many times we go out to do inspections and the water's not on, the power just got cut off, the gas isn't on, and all those things are a hindrance when we go to do the inspection and we can't inspect everything. And lastly, I run across a lot of good agents, but then I run across some that could use a little help. Let the home inspector do the inspection. I get to some houses and the agent wants to point out things and tell the person why this is wrong and why that's wrong. And just what I've learned through our conferences is that could get you in a lot of trouble legally, because now you're putting yourself in the shoes of the inspector. So just kind of want to put those 4 things out there to you to, let us do the job for you, and we're going to make sure you're taken care of. So let's just say you're brand new to this industry. You've never really worked with a lot of inspectors. 7 questions you should ask any home inspector. Number 1, you want to find out, what does the inspection cover? You want to have a clear understanding of what the inspection covers and what is not going to be covered. I've had agents, I've had people, home buyers say, well, did you check my telephone lines? Or is my cable working? Or, hey, I saw you were looking up on the roof. Is my dish good? The dish network, satellite. Well, what kind of trees are these in my yard? And does my sprinkler system cover? Is it working? None of these things are covered in a home inspection. The home inspection is basically the structure itself and the systems that have been installed by the builder. Once you get into dehumidifiers and vacuum systems that are installed in the home, all of those things are outside the scope of a normal home inspection. So whoever you're going to work with, definitely if you work with us, we'll make sure you know what's going to be covered in the inspection. Number 2, it's good to find out from your inspector, how long have you been in business? As I told you, this is my 9th year in business, full-time home inspector. Definitely you want to know how many inspections a home inspector has done, because the more experience you have, usually the better. Nothing wrong with being a brand new home inspector, because at one point I was brand new, but I had been trained as a home inspector. I went to school, I went through a course, took a test and passed it, got my certification, and then, I joined the organizations who's helped me, come along in the business. So that's something you would want to know. Number 3, will I be able to attend the home inspection? And, of course, we tell people, yes, you can definitely come. My preference is normally that people come towards the end of the inspection. That gives me an hour, hour and a half to at least get started, start looking at the home, and then I'll take the last 30 minutes or so if they want to ask questions or point out things they've seen, to help them, and to show them where their main cutoffs are for the water and the electric panel and just things that they may have need of knowing in the home. So definitely your clients can attend the home inspection. Number 4, you would want to ask a home inspector, are you a part of a professional home inspection association? Now, this is critical. The state of Georgia tried to pass a home inspector license law back in 2010. The governor vetoed it. He denied it and said no. He said that he wanted the organizations in the state to oversee the home inspectors themselves. So is if you're watching and looking at the webinar across the bottom of the screen, left to right, you'll see there's the National Association of Home Inspectors. There's the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. There's the American Society of Home Inspectors, which is called ASHI. And then there's the Georgia Association of Home Inspectors called GAHI. So, these are the first three are the national names. GAHI is a local name, but it's well respected by the builders here in Georgia. And you want to make sure that the home inspector is a part of one of these organizations. I'm actually a part of the International Association and the Georgia Association. And these people are the ones who keep us accountable to what's going on in the industry. They're making sure that we get continuing education, making sure that we have so many hours per year. And what happens is, if you're current and everything's up to par, they keep you on the website. Once you get out of compliance, then, of course, they take your name off, of the membership. So your home inspector definitely needs to be up to par on what's happening in the industry. Number 5, what type of inspection report do you provide? Now, of course, in this day of technology and, information and emails, you would think that every inspector is going to take pictures, it's going to be some type of report from a program, and that's not required. The state of Georgia, this is the law. For those who are watching, the state of Georgia has one paragraph on home inspections in the state law, and basically all it says is that the home inspector has to do a visual inspection, and the home inspection has to be in writing. The findings have to be in writing. Doesn't say it has to have pictures. Doesn't say it has to be emailable. It doesn't say any of that. So there have been some real bad home inspection reports produced. If you're watching online, you can see on the left-hand side of the screen that handwritten inspection report, hardly legible, not clear where the problems are or how to resolve them. That's a problem. On the right, this is what I use, a computerized report, and most inspectors are using some type of software to help better report the results of the home inspection. So that's something you want to know. What kind of report am I going to get? Number 6, how long will the inspection take? Now that's important. Of course, as a minimum, I tell people 2 hours. It could be more based on the size and the age of the home. But I teach home buying seminars twice a month. I teach for Clayton County, and I teach for Metro Fair Housing. And what I found in some of these classes is that people have had home inspections prior to taking the class, and they'll say, oh, well, yeah, I had a home inspection, and the inspector was only out there for an hour. Well, I tell the people that that's not satisfactory because your normal 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, you're going to be out there at least 2 hours. And for these guys who are, I don't know who they are, that are telling people they can inspect the home in an hour, I can get it done in 45 minutes, that's really a disservice to the person that's buying the home and making an investment. So, find out how long you think the inspection should take from the inspector. And, like I said, it could just definitely be longer for bigger homes. And then lastly, to ask a home inspector, may I see your credentials? I know it's not common that you would ask a home inspector for their credentials, especially on a resale, but definitely if this is somebody brand new that you've not worked with, I want to see that you really do have these certifications. I've met guys who said they're home inspectors, but they're really maintenance men. I've met guys who said they're home inspectors, but really they were plumbers who just trying to get into home inspections. And so you can be very versed in one area of a home, but know very little about another. I have a friend of mine who builds homes, and he does a fantastic job of building homes, but he doesn't know a whole lot about electricity. So when he runs into issues, when he's doing rehabs or remodels, he'll call me and say, hey, man, come and look at this. So don't assume just because somebody's been in the construction, remodeling business that they're qualified as a home inspector. You want to make sure that they are a home inspector. So I'm going to check, and let's see. We got any questions? No. Okay, I see, Luther, you said a couple things here. Did you want to say anything, Luther, at this point? Okay. It's not. All right, so I will keep going. All right. So after that, normally what I do is I'm going to go back over the questions just in case you didn't get them all. Number one, find out what does the inspection cover. Number two, how long have you been a home inspector? How many inspections have you completed? Number three, will I be able to attend the inspection, or your buyer be able to attend the inspection? Number four, do you have a membership in a professional home inspection organization? Number five, what type of inspection report will I receive? Number six, how long will the inspection take? And then number seven, may I see your credentials? Mr. Luther, I hear that you're back. Did you want to say anything at this point, sir?
Yeah, just let me, I would like to make a couple of real important points to all the agents. A couple of big things that I heard that's really worth $1 million is, Jocks is basically saying, hey, he'll stay in his lane and for us to stay in our lane. And that's very important. And I want to really bring that home as a broker because as a broker, we do not want to get the liability of making any type of suggestions when it comes to repairs, maintenance, inspection, any of that. Big one is I've had agents call me and say, hey, my client have mold. And I say, well, how do you know the client have mold? Well, it looked like mold around the bathtub, and, they're concerned about mold. And I told them, yes, they have mold. And the correct answer as a real estate agent is we have a preferred inspector, Dream Home Inspection. Let me call Jocks. He will come out here, and he will confirm what the problem is. That's very important. So agents, stay in your lane. Do not start talking inspections, even if it's an obvious situation. You can see the sky through the roof. There is an obvious roof issue. We still don't want to step out there and say, yes, there's a roof issue. We want to call the professionals. The other point that I want to make that I like Jocks on our team is there's inspectors, there's maintenance men, there's guys out there that will step on our toes. We'll say, hey, you know what? You shouldn't buy this. You should buy this. This is a bad house. This is a good house. And some of them really don't mean anything by it, but they'll really step on our toes. So that's why you have to have the right team. I like Jocks because what I want from an inspector is, hey, tell me what's major, tell me what's minor. There is no such thing as a perfect house. And really, as a real estate agent, the most important thing is what's a deal breaker and what's a not deal breaker. And agents, I always tell my clients, this is an inspection, and there's no such thing as a perfect house, so don't get alarmed when the inspector finds something, because that's what we are paying for. He will find something, but a good inspector, and when you have a relationship with that inspector, they can kind of advise you on what they find, and then we can go from there on whether we proceed with the contract and how we proceed with the contract. But would you agree with that, John?
Yes, sir, I would. And I want to just go back to something you just said. When it comes to, stepping on the toes of the agents, once again, when people come out to buy homes, I'll give you a quick story. I had a lady from New York who had sold a brownstone in New York, and she was moving here to Georgia. She was buying a house in Grant Park. The house was in terrible condition at the time of the inspection. The plumbing, the roofing, the electrical, everything needed to be updated. But this lady was so excited about this house. So I said, ma'am, these are a number of issues. You definitely need a contractor and, service people to come out here and, tell you what's going on as far as what you're going to need to replace. What I didn't know was that she had $60,000 that she was invested into the home. I didn't find that out till later, that she had renovated the home. She had, invited her agent back over to see it once she had flipped it, basically. But what I'm saying is, at the time of the inspection, I don't know what your buyer has in their pocket. So I can't tell them not to buy the home because I see something I think is expensive, because they may have the money to repair it. They may have the money to fix it. So like I said, at the end of the day, my job is to find the information, present it to you, and then let you make your own decision, with your home buyer. Another thing I wanted to point out too was that when he brought up mold, mold is not a part of a regular home inspection. Even if we see mold, we're not even supposed to say mold until the mold test is completed. So definitely as a real estate agent, you don't want to go out telling people that there's mold, because if you see it in one area and you don't see it in other areas, you could be held liable for that because you're not a mold inspector. So, stay away from mold. Another hot button is lead-based paint. Even if you think it's lead-based paint, it's best to once again refer to the inspector, and then even then we take samples, send them to a lab to confirm that it is lead-based paint. Another hot topic, code. You, as an agent and even as an inspector, you shouldn't be going around talking about things are not up to code. This isn't code. Unless it's a new construction home that is currently being built, the word code should not be used in that inspection. Well, the hot water heater is not up to code. Well, I know this. I'm looking at this electrical wire, and this isn't up to code. Don't do that. Just stay away from the word code, period, unless it's actually being built. Because as home inspectors, we are not code officials. We can find some things that may not be code compliant, but that's not our job as whole, to be code officials. So, stay away from mold, lead-based paint, and code, because I know people all the time, I've heard it from too many agents, well, you think this is up to code? It's a 1997 home. Code is irrelevant to this house. All right. And one last thing, home inspectors are not required to walk on roofs. I get asked that a lot of times, well, hey, did you go on the roof? Well, if it's a second-story or three-story type home, we're not going on the roof. We do go on some ranch-style roofs if we see issues or problems. But most of the time, we're inspecting the roof from the ground using binoculars, or we can get a ladder up there and look at it. That's close enough. But if I see problems with the roof from the exterior, then that's why I'm going up into the attic to check the underside of the home to look for additional problems. So just to let you know, we don't walk on every roof, and actually our home inspection agencies don't even want us walking on roofs, and definitely our insurance don't. So just a couple of things, a couple of nuggets to throw out there to you. All right, Mr. Luther?
Yes.
Keep going, or go ahead?
Well, let me, Go ahead. Let's start right there. That's perfect.
Okay. All right. So for those who are on the webinar.
Well, notice the one thing, but really quick,
Yes, sir.
really quick. Can you, just for a reminder, can you give everybody, we're about in the middle here, your name, website, email address, and all the information one more time for some of my new folk who have just called in?
Okay. Once again, my name is Jock Mountain. I am with Dream Home Inspections. My first name is, I'll tell you what, I can just go back to there's too many slides. First name is Jock, Jacqueus. Last name is Mountain, like Stone Mountain. So it's Jock Mountain. I'm with Dream Home Inspections. My telephone number is 678-516-9467. That's 678-516-9467. My website is www.atlhomeinspectors.com. So that's atlhomeinspectors.com. And if you would like to email me, it's simply Dream Home Inspections, the name of my company, at Comcast.net. So that's Dream Home Inspections at Comcast.net.
All right, go ahead and roll with it, Jock. Great information.
So for those who are on the webinar, I have provided some pictures from home inspections over the years. For those who are listening in, You're going to miss some really good pictures here, but I'll kind of just talk over a few of them as hello.
Hey, Jacques.
Oh, Jack.
Okay.
Jack, his star 6. I'm sorry. His star 6, Jack.
Yes, sir. I'm back. Okay. So I'm back now. And
yes.
So here we go. All right. So, there are all kind of houses out there in the city. For those watching online, this house here has a severe sagging roof. This is actually a home somebody lived in. I saw in the West End. Just issues. And one of the things that I want to point out as I go through some of these pictures, and I'll talk about a few of them as I go, is that as the inspector, our position is relaying information. This here was termite damage above a garage. You can see that it was already hanging down. I didn't pull that out. I didn't pull it back. But I do offer a free termite inspection if you need a free termite inspection. Now, it's not a termite letter, but I do provide free termite inspection. So what I do is I have a third-party company. They'll come out. They'll inspect the home for free. If there are termites, then they'll let us know, hey, there was termites at the property. This is the quote to service it, to get it, taken care of. And then if your buyer needs a letter, the letter is normally between $50 and $75. But the termite inspection I can definitely get for you free on any home that we inspect together. All right. So here is a raccoon caught in the fireplace chimney, flew. Definitely you want to make sure, on the roof that we look and inspect that there's a metal screen around the top of that, things that we're looking for that your buyer normally isn't. Animals do get in homes. This attic here in this picture has no insulation in the attic. So that means that your heating and air bills are just going to be phenomenal. What happened is I went to a house in Lithonia, 6,000 square foot home. The seller was there. He had built the home and he had it on the market. I was inspecting it for the buyer, and he had no insulation in the house, in the attic, zero, none. And I came down. I said, hey, sir, I said, I'm just checking with you. Have you had some type of problem with your attic that there's no insulation up there? And he was like, well, no. He said, I've been here for the last couple of years. And he said, there's no insulation up there? I said, no. So he had a custom-built home with no insulation. Why? Because he never got it inspected. He never went into the attic. So the guy lived there for 4 or 5 years with no insulation in it. So you can imagine a 6,000 square foot home, no insulation. That's a pretty big bill every month. All right. In this picture, you see some rats trapped on the roof. I do, as I'm going through the inspection, look and see if I see any type of indication of rodents that have been through the attic. Rodents are a problem, especially for homes that have trees and limbs hanging over it, and give squirrels and rats, mice, easy access to your roof, and then the openings along the roof, they just have easy access to get into your attic. One of the reasons I point this out to people is because if I see a lot of droppings throughout the attic, then when it gets to be too bad, the insulation actually needs to be pulled out of the home and then re-insulated. So that's, once again, now a negotiation thing, because now as the buyer or the buyer's agent, you're wanting to know, okay, well, who's going to do that? Because my client definitely doesn't own the home yet, so we don't want to put them in a position where they got to move right in and immediately pull out insulation and re-insulate the attic. So good to make note of that. There's some raccoons in the attic if you're watching with us. So here's a crawl space. I don't know too many inspectors that like crawl spaces. I'm still not a big fan of them, but we have to go in them every day. This is a key area of the house. I just can't say enough about you have to go in there. You have to inspect the crawl space. In this picture alone, there's 4 things wrong. Number 1, there should be a plastic barrier that covers the entire ground of the crawl space. That's to keep moisture down and to prevent mold and mildew from growing under the home. Number 2, if you look in the center of the screen, you see an electrical wire that's hanging down. We've heard of people getting electrocuted from live wires hanging in crawl spaces. Number 3, the post on your far right side of the screen. This post is not even touching the beam up here, so it's not even supported. So that was a problem. So that just lets me know that whoever did the repairs underneath the home, wasn't a qualified professional. And then number 4, the wooden posts are sitting on the ground. So now they're going to start to rot. They're not going to properly support the home, so you're still just going to end up with a bigger issue. So that's mold growing on their home. For those watching online, this is kind of a yellowish mold. Mold's not always black, so that's why we don't want you to get into saying, oh, I saw mold, because you don't know exactly what you saw until it's tested. All right, for older homes, and Mr. Luther, you just tell me, when I need to bring this to a close.
Okay.
For older homes, this is something we run into pretty commonly, and I'm going to tell you why this is important. These are what's called galvanized pipes. They're silver pipes. They were used in homes in the 50s and 60s. The problem with these pipes is this. Next slide shows you that they rust from the inside out. Now, this picture here is that same home. Those rusted pipes were in this house. But if you look at the picture, this is a brand new granite countertop in this bathroom, backsplash, fancy fixture, fancy face bowl. So what I'm saying is somebody went in and spent a lot of money to renovate this home, but they left bad pipes in there. So I've heard agents tell people, well, hey, the house was recently renovated, so there's no need to get an inspection. The builder just built it. There's no need to get an inspection. Ladies and gentlemen, people build homes. People make mistakes. The builder, the superintendent is not at every home watching every little detail that goes on at the house. So we always recommend people get an inspection. You see this orange water coming out of this pipe. When I turned on the bathtub, that was the same thing, the same house. So you could have walked in that house and been ooh and ah by what you saw, but then you had a $3,500, $4,000 repair on the pipes that needed to be done. So once again, always recommend that your buyers get home inspections. Another point I want to point out to you here is that water heaters do explode. This is something that we're checking for. The picture that you're looking at, this is what you call a temperature and pressure relief valve. It's a little valve on the side or the top of the water heater that needs to flip on its own if the water heater gets too hot. Water heaters actually have exploded. This is a picture of a water heater that exploded and destroyed a garage. This is a deadly explosion. It's causing damage to the home, and even to the house to the left of it, it damaged that home. So these are things that we're going to look for that your home buyer doesn't know to look for. They don't know to check the temperature and pressure relief valve. They don't know to check the flue to make sure carbon monoxide isn't getting back into the home. So once again, things that we've learned along the way by continuing education, being a part of an organization that trains you, helps you to be a better inspector. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen this before on these ducts. These are metal ducts, but they have white tape on them. And I know everybody's probably going, yeah, that's duct tape. True enough, it's duct tape, but the duct tape is made of asbestos. So anytime you see this white tape on ducts, do know that that is asbestos duct tape. The asbestos is a cancer-causing agent. When the tape is intact, it is fine. But once that tape comes apart, those particles get into the air, or if they get into that ductwork, it's going to be blown throughout the home and, could potentially cause damage to to somebody who's living there. The commercial right now is running on TV on a regular basis. You hear the commercial comes on and says, hey, do you know anybody with mesothelioma? And ... Well, mesothelioma came from asbestos. For years, men worked in plants producing asbestos wraps for ducts, plumbing pipes, and things like that. And these guys ended up with lung cancer. So this is a red flag when we go out and do inspections and we find asbestos duct tape.
And Jock, that's an excellent point. And here's a couple of questions that I have that I know other agents have. For instance, okay, so one of the things we have learned today is there's a regular inspection. I think I've also heard a termite inspection. I've heard a mold inspection. I don't know, but I believe there's also a radon or some other type of inspection, like for gas and those type of things.
Yes, sir.
Just spend a minute, because I'm an agent, okay? I'm walking into the end of this house, and yes, I think most agents, we understand we need a regular inspection. And most folks are just, okay, let's do a regular inspection. Then I've also called companies, and they've said, all right, I want a termite inspection. And then sometimes they will say, well, do you want just a termite inspection, or do you want a termite and radon inspection? Then we also have this thing called the mold inspection. As a real estate agent, my client can spend $3,000 on inspections and inspecting everything. How do we know what to inspect and when to inspect? What inspections do you recommend that maybe we should have, and what do you recommend, or how do we know if or when we even need a mold inspection? Now, we know we're not going to ever say mold or deal with mold, and if we look at something that may resemble mold, obviously we are calling you. But can you just spend a minute letting us know these different inspections and when, what, where, and why?
Yes, sir. Okay, so number one, I would say, of course, you want to get your regular home inspection. Now, radon is popular because if you go on the EPA website, radon is a naturally occurring gas. It comes up from the ground. It's in your home. It's in the air. Everybody is breathing it. It is highest in DeKalb, Fulton, Gwinnett, the metro Atlanta area. So what happens is radon comes into the home. It's a gas. You can't smell it. You can't taste it. And if it's in high levels and somebody lives in that home for a long period of time, it can produce lung cancer even if you've never smoked before. So it's a hot topic now, so we do recommend people get a radon test. It's an additional cost, normally about $100 extra on the home inspection, but you want to know that information prior to you moving in. I've had a couple of deals where people were buying nice-sized homes, but because the radon levels were so high, they didn't buy it. If you do have radon levels that are high, there is a treatment system they can put in the home. Normally runs about $2,000 to help get the radon out of the house. And, I don't want to get too far off into it, but you definitely want your home inspection, and you do want radon. Termite inspection, there are termites in every acre of land in the state of Georgia. So it's not if termites get to your home, it's just when. So that's why as a part of the new construction process, they have to automatically treat the home for termites because they're that prevalent here in the South. So once again, if you want a termite inspection, when you call me, just say, hey, we're buying a home. We want the termite inspection. I can get that done for you for free. Mold. The only time I tell people you need a mold inspection is if you go into a home and there is heavy and severe mold where when you walk into the home, there's a stench to it. There's a stink. There's a mustiness. At that point, you need a mold inspection. So I had a lady who bought a house, and the crawl space was just full of mold. All of the joists that were supporting the floors of the crawl space had mold on it. So I said, well, do you still want to buy the home? She said, yes, I want to buy it. The seller said they're going to treat it. So what I did was I said, well, look, we need to get a sample of the mold and find out what level and how much is there. They're going to come out and clean it, and then we follow up with another mold test to make sure it was properly cleaned. Because just because the mold is gone off the surface does not mean it has been completely cleaned. And that's what happened with this lady. They hired some guys who didn't really know how to clean it. The mold was at 94% when we first did the first test, and then we came back with the follow-up test. It was only at like 91%. So they didn't do a thorough job of cleaning. So mold that you see up on their kitchen sink, bathroom sink, it's a couple of dark spots. That's as simple as, number one, fixing the plumbing leak, and then number two, having somebody cut that sheetrock out, replace it, and make sure the area is clean. So home inspection, radon, those would be 1, 2. Mold, lead-based paint, those would just be kind of as you need it.
Great. That is very good. Man, I like that. Okay, you know what I'd like to do? I would like to open it up now for some questions for my agents. *6 is going to open it up so you can ask questions. So *6 will unmute you where you can. So any questions, anyone? *6, or if you're online, you can actually ask some questions. We also have the live chat going on, so you can hit the live chat with a question. You can hit *6 with the question. Any questions for Josh? Questions at all?
Hello?
Questions, anyone?
Hi, Josh. This is Abe. Hey, Luther. How are you doing?
Hey, Abe, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Josh, on commercial inspections, I know you don't like. You said earlier about prices and all of that. You price the inspection. But what's the range for? I don't know how you do it. But for a square footage or whatever or size building, what's your cost for inspection of a commercial property?
Okay, all of our prices are based on the square footage of the home, or if it's commercial, once again, it's still based on the square footage. Basically, with a home, our base price is $350, and we go up from there. But once again, that includes the termite inspection. I also do thermal imaging. I have an infrared camera that helps me find things that you just can't see with your normal eye. So you're getting a little more with your $350 than just me coming out and looking at the house. Number two, on commercial, it's based on square footage, but then it also is based on what type of building it is and what the square footage is. For example, I did a church. The church was 10,000 square feet, but 5,000 square feet of it was the sanctuary. So there's not a lot of inspecting going on in the sanctuary other than some outlets, you see. But then I've also done daycares and schools where that 5,000 square feet is being used a lot more, so there's a lot more to inspect. So our average price is normally somewhere in the 15 to 20 cents a square foot. So that's kind of how we charge from there on the commercial.
Okay, 15 to 20 cents per square feet. Okay. Square foot.
And if I could mention this as well, hey everybody, one thing I like about Jock's program is he have his fees on his website. I went to his website, so if you get a chance, check out that website, and they're right there on the website, and that's a big and that's a big help as well. All right, go ahead, Abe.
Yeah. So Josh, say. I know it gets a little complicated for like a strip, a shopping strip, so to speak. That's shop. It ranges the same, like it's the same 15 to 20 cents per square feet, right? Per square foot, right?
Yeah, and like I said, it just depends on what the space is being used for. If it's a commercial strip mall plaza, and I'll give you a space like a Subway. Okay, just a space that's the size of a Subway, but there's nothing in there. Well, then there's only one bathroom, maybe two bathrooms. There's some outlets. There's an HVAC system. Then, I can deduct from that and make the price more feasible for the person who's buying, because it's not a lot of inspection going on. You see what I mean? So, and then another thing that carries a little difference too is it depends on what type of commercial or residential units are there. I go to some commercial properties. There's a residential AC unit. There's a residential electrical residential water heater. I've done bigger commercial properties where there's a, what they call a swamp cooler, which is a commercial AC unit, 600 amps or above, which we don't inspect as home inspectors for electricity. So what I do at that point is now I'm bringing in people to work with me to make sure that those things are properly inspected. So then the cost can vary then, because now we're going into commercial work versus quote unquote commercial, which with residential units, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So if
and
it's
so
all
what I'm
kind of
hearing,
very,
Doc,
yes, sir.
so what I'm kind of hearing for all the agents out there is, we can kind of use it, the 20 cents as a rule of thumb, 20 cents per square foot as a rule of thumb. But really, what you want to do with those commercial deals, give Jacques a call, let him come out, let him look at the space, and then he can let you know how much it's going to be and what it's going to take, how long it's going to take, and that's probably the best way to proceed with the commercial deals because there's so many variations to a commercial deal that sitting here at a live conference call, it is really hard to say. What I would recommend is use that as a rule of thumb, but you really need to call Jacques out and let him take a look at it. Because personally, I don't start quoting stuff to my clients on my commercial deals. I say, hey, I have a team, and that's what my team is for. And I call out my team. Jacques, give me some, quality numbers, and then we go from there. But would you agree with that, Jacques? Yes?
Yes, sir. That's the best way to do it. And even when you have a deal, I go out there even before I give you a price, because I might, like I said, hear one thing on the phone and get out there and like, oh, man, this isn't that hard. So, yeah, I'm willing to, be flexible and work with people where they are and what the building actually requires.
And I think that, helps, really bring home that statement of having the right team and staying in your lane. You start trying to quote prices on this, and that, you can get in trouble real quick. So I'll stay in my lane. Jacques, you stay in your lane. You are a part of my team, and let's make it happen, and let's do it. Questions? Do we have more questions? Questions, agents?
I'm good.
Great. Speak up. You are live. Nobody is muted. So if you have a question, just talk and we'll hear you. Well, while you all are thinking of the questions, let me make sure that you all understand a couple of things. I think another thing that we learned that's very important that I think all agents need to understand is Jacques said there are certain things that's not covered in the inspection, such as cable outlets, such as the dish in the backyard. So I think those things are very important for our clients to understand. And I think it's also very important, one of the things that we learned today, is Jacques is not out saying whether you should or shouldn't buy this home because remember this, agents, everything in real estate is negotiable. So like Jacques said, you may have an investor that's really getting a house at a steal, or you might have a home buyer that's getting a house for a steal of a deal. They have capital to rehab, so on the exterior it might look like a bad deal, but in reality we could negotiate and make it a very, very good deal. Also, there are some things that's minor rehab, and then we have some things that's major rehab. Now, we have a workshop coming up on May the 30th, and it's an investor workshop. And I strongly encourage everybody to go out right now, register for that workshop at platinumrealestate.com. If you go to www.platinumrealestate.com, you can actually register for the upcoming investor workshop. At that investor workshop, I'm going to show you how to analyze property, how to analyze the deal, whether it's a single-family home, whether it's a commercial deal, quadruplex, 8 units, whatever the case might be. We're going to talk about how you analyze the deal. And you can have an inspection that looks from the exterior not to be a good deal, but in reality, we can negotiate and make that thing happen. So I think it's very important that we learned that, there's no such thing as a good or bad deal, and a inspection just because it doesn't look good from the exterior in reality, it can really be great. Okay? And we'll run out of time here, so let me just kind of mention a couple of things. Again, May 30th, you need to go to platinumrealestate.com. We are going to have our workshop there. Jox will be there. He is one of our vendors who always attend. So whether you are watching the webinar, whether you're listening, or even if you are listening to the recording, and if you want to ask some questions, Jox will be there May the 30th to answer even more questions for everybody. So definitely register for that investor workshop. Jox, we are kind of toward the end here. Can you please give everybody once again information on how we can contact you?
Yes, sir. All right. So once again, my phone number 678-516-9467. That's Jock Mountain. 678-516-9467. Feel free to text me if you like. My email address is Dream Home Inspections. That's Dream, D-R-E-A-M, Dream Home Inspections with a S at Comcast.net. So Dream Home Inspections at Comcast.net, and our website is www.atlhomeinspectors.com, atlhomeinspectors.com, and I look forward to working with you all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And, one thing that I was just thinking while I was sitting here is we have conference calls every couple of weeks. And, Jock, I definitely want to have you back because obviously we just kind of scratched the surface. Just sitting here, I thought a lot more questions myself on things like mold and radon and termite inspections and those type of things. So hopefully you will be able to, bless us with some knowledge in the upcoming future.
Yes, sir. I look forward to it.
And so as you all know, we're also working on a full day FHA, not the FHA, the 203K, I'm sorry, the 203K. Jock is one of the professionals in that. He is certified with that. So we're going to have him come in and do a full day workshop just on that. And we're looking at probably 9 until 4 on a Saturday, 6 hours worth of CE credits. It's going to be another platinum free event for everybody. We haven't nailed down all of the particulars, the date, the time, and all of that good stuff. But watch your email, watch your text messages, because we will give you all of the details. That will be coming up really, really soon. Also, Platinum agents, we are going to have a mandatory broker meeting. It is going to be an online broker meeting. There are some things going on in the business, and I need to make everybody aware of. You're not going to have to, leave your home. If you have a cell phone, iPad, or a computer, you will be able to attend the mandatory meeting. And I believe we will probably do it in the next couple of months. But mandatory broker meeting, I'm going to need everybody to be there. It's an absolute must, so please watch out for that. Well, thank you very much for your time and for the information. You did a great job, man. I'm proud of you. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, very good. Well, everybody, thank you very much. As always, I am Luther Ragsdale, broker and CEO of Platinum Real Estate. You can always contact me via email, luther.ragsdale@platinumrealestate.com, or you can contact me on my cell phone, 404-513-5677. Text is always best, but if you would like to call me and leave a message as well. Please do not forget, register for that upcoming workshop at platinumrealestate.com. Hit the education link and register. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for everybody's time. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.